Hi guys, so hari ni saya berada di dalam sebuah jentera SUV segmen D yang sangat popular dekat Malaysia. So hari ni saya nak sembang pasal Proton X70. So Proton X70 yang saya nak review pada hari ini adalah Proton X70 keluaran 2022. Dia a new variant. Sebenarnya Proton X70 dah been in the market for around 6 years sebab the first Proton was actually introduced back in 2018. Tapi it was the first Proton yang ada a lot of problems, but then Proton improved by releasing new batches of Proton. So this is the new batch of Proton yang keluaran 2022. Kereta ini mempunyai 1.5 liter 3-cylinder turbo engine. Enjin kereta ni mengeluarkan lebih kurang 177 horsepower and around 255 Nm of torque. Kereta ini menggunakan 7-speed dual clutch transmission dengan manual mode. Ia menggunakan front wheel drive dan kereta ini mempunyai 3 driving mode: normal, eco dan juga sports mode. Berat kereta ni lebih kurang 1.6 ton dan full tank on X70 membolehkan anda untuk travel lebih kurang 550 km on average lah. Dan harga Proton X70 currently dekat market adalah lebih kurang RM128,000 Malaysia. So hari ni saya akan kongsikan dengan korang semua sama ada berbaloi ataupun tidak untuk beli Proton X70 pada tahun 2024. Kita akan tengok dia punya interior, kita akan tengok dia punya exterior dan kita akan tengok betapa lajunya kereta ni to go from 0 to 100 km/h. Alright, so first hari ni saya nak ceritakan pasal dia punya interior first. So kalau korang boleh tengok, kereta X70 menggunakan Nappa leather. Kalau korang boleh tengok kat sini, the leather actually feels very soft. It's very well made. Kalau korang boleh tengok, stitching dekat sini pun nampak sangat-sangat kemas. Saya sangat-sangat sukakan stitching dekat dalam kereta ni, dan Nappa leather ni memang feel sangat-sangat comfortable. And not just that, korang boleh rasa dekat sini texture dekat sebelah sini and also texture dekat sebelah luar is very different, and it feels very good to be sitting on this leather right here. Not just that, dekat sebelah tengah on the center console of this car, korang boleh nampak sini pun ada leather, and dekat armrest kereta ni korang boleh nampak sini pun ada another layer of leather kalau korang boleh nampak kat sini. And one thing that I really appreciate about Proton X70 kalau korang boleh tengok adalah dekat sini. Sini korang boleh rasa it's a soft touch tau. Tak banyak kereta dekat luar sana dengan harga RM128,000 menggunakan soft touch. It's very well made. It feels very good to hold, and also not just dekat kawasan ni soft touch, dekat sebelah sini pun soft touch as well kalau korang boleh tengok. What I really like about Proton X70 is the center console of this car. The center console of this car is very well made. Kalau korang boleh tengok, it looks very good. Dekat sini korang boleh nampak there's an element of macam kayu-kayu sikit. Dia nak try to imitate kayu kalau korang boleh tengok. So it looks very classy, and also not just that, it has a lot of buttons, usable buttons. Tak macam kereta-kereta zaman sekarang yang lain lah. Most of kereta zaman sekarang, diorang meletakkan semua buttons kat dalam diorang punya screen, which is, for me, it's not very usable lah. Tapi one thing that I really appreciate about Proton X70, dia ada semua button-button sini dan dia memudahkan korang. Yelah, masa korang tengah drive, masa bila korang nak cari-cari button kat dalam screen kan. So bila having physical buttons like this memang menyenangkan hidup kita lah. Macam contoh, kalau let's say saya nak kuatkan aircon ke, saya nak slowkan aircon ke, saya nak tukar mode and stuff like that, semuanya berada dekat center console ni memang sangat-sangat nice. And not just that, kalau saya nak tukar driving mode pun dekat sini saya ada eco mode, saya ada sports mode, and not just that, saya ada sensor as well. And one thing that saya sangat-sangat suka adalah dia punya gear knob. Gear knob dekat sini memang very well made, sangat-sangat nice, looks very premium dan macam kereta Continental. That's one thing that I really like about the interior of this car. And moving on, kalau korang boleh tengok dekat tengah sini, the ones that is holding the screen right here, korang boleh nampak this is sort of macam woods tau. Dia memang nak try imitate the look of having woods in this car, and it looks very nice. And the center screens memang very well made into the car itself. It looks very neat, it looks very good, and I really like it. Screen dia pun memang sangat-sangat laju, dia memang smooth. Kalau korang pakai pun korang tak rasa laggy, korang tak rasa macam benda ni slow. And I really like that about this car. Alright, moving on kepada bahagian belakang kereta ni. Kalau korang boleh nampak, the space between my head and also the roof of this car sangat-sangat luas. Ada plenty of space lagi. But the most important part of this car is, kalau korang boleh nampak, bahagian lutut saya dengan bahagian seat depan, there's plenty of space more. So bahagian depan ni saya dah set to my own driving position. Kalau korang boleh nampak, memang luas lagi bahagian ni. And also not just that, I think the most important part of this car is having this seats right here being this slopey macam ni lah. And also it feels very comfortable, and also korang boleh rest korang punya thighs dekat seat ni. And also korang boleh tengok dekat bahagian kaki saya, memang saya boleh push sampai ke depan sana. So that means kalau korang travel as a passenger in this car dalam long periods of travel ke, ataupun korang travel jauh, memang it's not a problem. Memang it feels very comfortable, and you know, you cannot complain when you are riding in this car. Alright, so now moving on to some of the features yang ada dekat Proton X70 before we proceed to the next part of this video. I think one of the most prominent features yang ada dekat Proton X70, for me personally, I think it's the 360 camera dekat kereta ni. 360 camera dekat Proton X70 is arguably one of the best camera, 360 camera in Malaysia market right now. 360 camera dekat Proton X70 sekarang ni yang saya tunjuk ni, memang kamera dia sangat clear, and also the camera itself is quite accurate tau. So macam saya guna sekarang ni untuk masuk parking, saya boleh nampak tau the parking itself, saya boleh nampak 360 wide camera, saya boleh nampak all surround, and also saya boleh juga control, boleh tengok essentially the visual of how my surrounding is. And for me, 360 camera dekat Proton X70 ni is probably superior lah. Memang one of the best dekat dalam market Malaysia kita sekarang. And then the other feature yang saya nak highlight juga, out of all the features yang ada dekat Proton X70, is the dual zone of air conditioner dekat dalam kereta ni. Kalau korang boleh tengok sekarang, zone for the driver and zone for the passenger. Korang boleh set aircon dekat sebelah driver lain, korang boleh also set aircon dekat sebelah passenger lain. So kereta ni ada this feature, and I think this feature is very very useful. And then moving on, another feature dekat Proton X70 yang saya nak highlight juga is kalau nampak tak, bila korang drive, kereta Proton X70 ni actually detects tau. So I think this is quite normal dekat semua kereta yang ada dekat market sekarang. Kereta dah boleh detect kereta yang kat belah depan. So essentially kalau kereta depan make any stop ke, emergency stop and stuff like that, which happened before dekat saya masa saya tengah drive Proton X70, tiba-tiba kereta depan emergency brake and stuff like that. Proton X70 saya memang actually emergency brake, and it is very useful, dan feature ni telah menyelamatkan saya beberapa kali daripada accident. And I'm quite thankful to have this feature on this Proton X70. And then also the third feature yang saya rasa worth mentioning is also the blind spot monitoring lah dekat kereta Proton X70. It's a bit different daripada semua kereta-kereta lain. Macam kereta lain, diorang semua letak blind monitoring diorang dekat diorang punya side mirror. Tapi dekat Proton X70, diorang letak kat sebelah dalam. Masa first saya drive pun saya rasa awkward sikit lah, sebab dah biasa tengok dekat side mirror kan. Tapi bila korang dah drive lama-lama, korang get used to it lah. Memang function blind spot monitoring ni, sebab kadang-kadang kita tak nampak motor kan yang ada dekat kita punya blind spot. So bila lampu tu menyala, kita tahulah ada kereta ke ada motor ke on that side. So we are more cautious to change the lane and stuff like that lah. I think those are some of the features yang saya rasa saya nak highlight in this video. And also I think I just wanted to make honorable mention juga, bila korang beli, korang actually dapat sekali dengan power boot. Power boot memang useful sebab kereta ni besar and tinggi, and saya rasa sangat-sangat useful. Power boot tu memang sangat-sangat function lah, menyenangkan kerja. And also another feature yang saya sangat-sangat suka pasal kereta ni is, korang boleh tengok power seats. The power seats in this car is very nice. For power seats kat dalam kereta ni ada for both driver and also passenger. Kalau korang boleh nampak kat sini, korang boleh adjust sama ada ke depan ataupun ke belakang dia punya tempat nak korang sandar. And also the seats itself can go backwards, upwards, downwards and stuff like that. And also this one is also special. Korang boleh adjust the way how you want your back support to be. Macam dekat sini kalau korang rasa korang nak ke depan sikit, korang punya back spot, korang boleh tekan ke depan ataupun korang boleh tekan ke belakang. So that's very nice for me. And another thing that I really like about this car, korang boleh nampak daripada driver seat, korang boleh adjust passenger seat punya positioning. So kat sini korang boleh ke belakang kan, ke depan kan, and stuff like that. It's very nice and I really like it. Alright, next up kita nak cerita pasal exterior of this car. Kalau korang boleh nampak, exterior wise kereta ni memang looks very very nice. For some people, diorang maybe akan cakap kereta ni nampak macam tua untuk orang-orang tua sikit lah. Tapi it depends on taste. For me personally, I think the car looks very nice. It looks very cool. I quite like the grille yang ada dekat depan kereta ni. And the new logo of Proton memang looks very nice. I like it. And not just that, kalau korang ikut dekat bahagian sini, I'm not sure if the camera can capture that, but there's a shape tau dekat sini. There's a slope dekat on top of this hood of the car. It makes the car looks very sporty. It looks very nice. And not just that, I really like the way how the LED of this car is positioned there. It looks very nice. It makes the car looks very cool. And dekat bahagian belakang kereta ni pula, kalau korang boleh tengok, for me, belakang ni is a love and hate relationship lah. Some people might like it, some people might not like it. For me, for my taste, bahagian belakang kereta ni tak adalah cantik sangat, tapi it's made well enough and it looks very cool. Alright, and in term of driving kereta ni, it feels very nice. Kereta ni dia for some reason kereta ni rasa senyap lah bila korang drive. Korang rasa senyap. The sound of the road bila korang lalu dekat atas jalan tu pun korang tak dengar sangat tau bunyi jalan tu. And also one thing that I really like, masa korang tengah drive laju, korang tak dengar tau bunyi angin. So it's very well made. Diorang memang dah design where kalau korang naik kereta ni memang it's top luxury from Proton lah. Korang rasa sangat-sangat sedap, korang rasa senyap je bila drive kereta ni. And one thing next that we are going to look at is how fast this car can overtake other cars. Alright, so now saya dah pun masuk dekat highway and kita nak test lah berapa laju kereta ni. So first off, saya akan masukkan ke dalam sports mode. Korang boleh dengar Proton tu actually akan bagi tahu the sports mode. So dekat sini saya akan tekan daripada 60, saya akan bawa daripada lebih kurang 70 km and then kita akan tengok nak pergi ke 120 km tu berapa laju. Okey, 1 2 3. Okey, dah 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160. Woohoo! Kereta ni, one thing that I really like about Proton X70, memang kalau korang tekan dia akan pergi lah. Kereta dia memang sangat-sangat sedap. Korang tekan sikit minyak pun dia dah pergi. I think 1.5 TGDI turbo tu memang function teruk lah. Memang korang bawa kereta ni, you can always feel there's a lot more punch tau masa korang tengah drive. So bila korang tekan je, kalau korang nak potong lori ke, korang nak potong kereta ke, this car has no issue at all in overtaking any car on highway tau. And that's one thing that I really like about Proton X70. Driving Proton X70 memang very nice. Korang akan rasa very comfortable. Not just that, korang rasa confident tau bila korang nak potong kereta lain. Macam setengah-setengah kereta dekat luar sana, kalau korang drive and korang nak potong kereta lain, korang rasa macam sempat ke ni saya nak potong kereta ni ataupun tidak kan. Tapi dengan X70, korang tekan sikit pun korang dah boleh potong tau kereta-kereta lain. So for me, power on this car memang sangat-sangat cukup. Although the car itself weighs 1.6 ton with 1.5 TGDI turbo, memang it feels very very good and I really like driving this car. Alright, so based on apa yang saya dah review tadi, korang rasa berbaloi ke tidak beli kereta ni? For me lah, personally lah, saya rasa sangat-sangat berbaloi beli kereta ni. Sebab especially for those yang ada family lah, kereta ni bukan sahaja luas, selesa, laju, and also for me overall, for those yang ada family, kereta ni memang sangat-sangat berbaloi lah. So I would recommend buying this car even in 2024. That's it. I hope you guys enjoy this content. Like, subscribe, See you guys in the next video. Bye.